your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours? No, Harry. You were just talking to yourself. That's all you ever do, even in your dreams. And the act is wearing thin. The spots on the disco ball fade around you.
Hello, my name is Ben and welcome to Field and Foley episode 32. Today I'm excited to have Mikee Goodman as my guest. He is the powerhouse vocalist from SikTh Primal Rock Rebellion and a versatile voiceover talent in the entertainment industry. As a singer, voice artist, casting director and audio producer, Mikee's creative prowess knows no bounds. From his electrifying performances with bands to his work as the director of voiceover and many of the voices for Disco Elysium, Mikee's diverse skill set has made a significant impact across music and gaming. So, Mikee, thank you for being on the show. I've been looking forward to this day.
Well, thank you, and that's a great intro. Thank you for that. That's an amazing intro, yeah. Thanks for that. Also, in the Sad Season, I've got a new band called The Sad Season.
I just read that today. Yeah.
So I'll just pitch that one in there.
Of course, man. You don't stop. We will talk about like all of your
Of course,
man.
Things,
but
I very much appreciate your intro, though. Thank you very much for that.
Of course. So, like the first thing I'd like to ask you, because we also have listeners that are not that familiar with the audio world, can you maybe briefly explain what the role of a director and producer for voiceover entails?
Well, a director is you relaying what a actor has to do in the scene. You have to kind of give them background to what each scene is. And kind of the style in which they have to portray, which they have to get over. Also, very importantly, you have to make them feel comfortable and make them feel expressive and free in what they can do. And yeah, it's a lot to do with that. With the producer, well, a producer is many different things. Because in music, a producer is like the inspiration and they would make sure everything is done correctly recording wise and all this stuff and everything else. In producing in gaming is very different because there can be so many different things, you know what I mean? There's lots of producers who are not necessarily creative at all, they're just getting things done and linking people to each other. So I guess me as if you say a video game producer, my roles, which I wouldn't necessarily credited for in Disco, but I had a lot of credit, so I was fine with that. But yeah, literally booking up studios, all that kind of thing and things like that if you have to, or, you got artists around the world and you have to arrange when they're recording, all that kind of thing, and getting the scripts ready and all that. I mean that's to do with director as well. But yeah, there's a lot of not that I actually got scripts ready, that was always someone else, send me it, and anyway, there's a lot of responsibilities in producing. There's loads of different types of producer as well in video games, you know what I mean? But yeah.
So in general, making shit happen.
Yeah, making shit happen, yeah.
And maybe go directly into Psalm and Disco Elysium. How did you come to work for them and for the game? Well,
there's this viola player called Abby Fry. She's a great person and great musician. And she was doing a British Sea Power. Obviously, they did the soundtrack of Disco, and that was one of the first creative things decided. And then Robert was actually asking, he was saying to Abby, I'm really looking for some crazy guy who can do these voices I've got, he had in his head, And then she said, oh, I know the person, I know the one. And then she put me in contact. And this was I think it was 2016. And so I sent them my first ever spoken word, which was a theatrical spoken word called When Will the Forest Speak, which is on a SikTh first album. And Robert really liked it. And then we did, he asked me to do so many different things, about 10 different accents or something like that. And we settled on the Cockney, both deciding that was the one, it just worked. and for Harry's voice, Ancient Reptilian Brain, because that was a main voice to get, you know.
Yeah.
And it's still like, you know, I still think it's my best voice on the whole game.
I agree.
Yeah, thanks, man. And yeah, and then we got Limbic System and stuff, and then those were the two voices, and then from there they really liked them. They really liked the way it was produced. And then he said to me, you know, because this was, just to be clear, this was a much lower budget game than it is now. You know, Zaun was much smaller than it is now, right? And then he said to me, oh, you know, just for a testing, we're looking for like 6 voices. Do you know this voice? And I was like, oh yeah, I do know. I know someone with that exact voice. So we got him in. That was Cindy the Skull. Yeah, so I cast 6 voices for him. Without really, you know, it wasn't, you know, I wasn't a casting director. I just knew certain voices. You know, I've got in my head, I hear voices all day. You know, I think of how to do voices all day. You know, it's just a thing I naturally do. And anyway, they really liked them. So they said, why don't you cast the whole game? I said, all right. Because as well as that, they could have gone to some casting place or something like that. But they wanted everything done differently. And that was very... important to everyone at Disco, that everything was done differently. They didn't do things the way lots of other video games were done, so they wanted to go this way. And also, they didn't want to go through agencies and things like that at the start. They just wanted to go a totally different way about it. So, you know, like, I mean, I was going... So I casted in many ways for this game, you know, like many odd ways. Like, there was just... Yeah, I was in a juice shop in Brighton, and then I just heard someone's voice, and then I pulled out a script and I said, please audition for this thing. And she actually ended up being, she ended up getting it. And even through to the second game, when there was way more auditions and stuff. I mean, there was a lot of auditions for the first game, but there was a really high amount, you know, and they were competing with like agency people and things like that as well. And yeah, that she got Dice Maker and Babe. That's nice. That. Yeah, things like that. There's even more crazy stories than that. You know, it was just happenings. You know what I mean? And like people like Tariq Khan, I already knew him. I know his sister in Bat for Lashes, and then yeah, he was he just naturally has this gift to be able to do it. And we had Dot from London Grammar. He was the first ever Kuno.
Nice.
Which was quite crazy, you know. He's got that thing about him, Dot. You know, he's really cool, but he's also, he can let himself go and just do these crazy voices and just have fun. You know, that's who he is. You know, he's just he's a proper cool person. I think, you know. I think that is cool if someone can just like be themselves and do what they, you know. And just you know, kind of do some crazy thing like that. You know what I mean? It's Kuno's voice is mental, but anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it is.
Back to you anyway, man.
Yeah. So the thing is, I've come very late to the game, to Disco Elysium. So I've played it, I think, 2 years ago now, or 1 year. I'm not sure yet, but very, very late. But I was enjoying it so much, and especially because of the voice work. It's one of the very few games where I didn't skip any lines at all, and that is something that is very, very rare for me, because usually, even if the voice work is good, like after a while, sometimes when you play, maybe you just have a little bit of time and you want to a bit go to the story, so you hear like the beginning of the sentence, and then you sometimes skip 1 or 2 lines. But for this game, it hit me so deeply. It was so well done with all the voices, and then I found out that you did so many voices. I was always like, oh, this guy is awesome. Who's this? Oh, that's also Mikee. It's like, what the fuck? What can't he do? So, yeah, to go to a bit of a more specific question is, how did you go to work on, or how did you approach to work on these abstract characters like the Ancient Reptilian Brain or the Limbic System?
Well, Ancient Reptilian Brain was quite simple because I've been doing that voice for years. In my spoken words and stuff, like, and then it's just the accent and the kind of I don't know, I got into that character very, very naturally, very easily, very quickly, actually. I don't know, man. And then what was the other one? Limbic System. Yeah. I mean, when he described it, it was just like, man, that was Yeah, I don't know. It was like meant to be like kind of like an old woman or this or that or this and that. I kind of combined a few things, you know, a few voices, like a little bit of Dot Cotton in there, and you probably don't know that in Germany, Dot Cotton. And there was someone else I've forgotten. I kind of like it was a bit of influence from that and that, but yeah, it was like a strained, weird, eerie voice. What was the other one you asked for? Spinal Cord, was that?
Oh yeah, Spinal Cord is also something that I really
That was
enjoy.
actually Spinal Cord was the only one which was actually pitch shifted. So that actually had effects on it.
Nice.
So that was, and so we were kind of like, I did loads of different ones for that. And then we were thinking, and then I did this really like cool kind of surfer guy one, which was a little bit, almost Jim Morrison-y, but not kind of. I did a more Jim Morrison one, but anyway, I did this kind of surfer one and then we pitch shifted it down and it was like really, really cool, you know what I mean? It just had loads of edge to it and it was just naturally, that's it, man. It was cool. Yeah, so that's the only thing with actual effects on it in the whole. There was a later one with effects on from another character. Yuan did it. It was that insect character. Elysium,
of course.
Phasmid. Yeah,
the Phasmid.
Yeah. But that was she did that amazing as well, and she was a producer. She was a producer, and we were like, I said at the beginning of it, she's the one. She can do it. And then we had someone else who was going to be amazing at doing it, and we were talking, and then in the end, Yuan came in and did it, and she was incredible. Yeah. But anyway, back to, so with my, Ancient Reptilian Brain, and, I mean, it was many years ago now. It was you're talking, I suppose 2017 or it might have been 16 when I first did those, and then they just developed, and it's just now you ask me to say something and I can just say it, you know what I mean? Like, and it just I know how Harry would say it. I know how Bird's Nest Roy would say his things as well, and that, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, you have the characters inside of you. That's good.
Yeah. And someone say to me, "Oh yeah, do this," you know. I remember someone was saying that, and I was like, no, he wouldn't say it like that. He would think this, and he wouldn't, you know, I was correct, you know, that's how he would be, because you get him in your head.
Yeah, of course. Although the ways of speaking, the ways of thinking, especially with a game like that, you have so many like internal dialogues that are very specific, and that are not like, I would say, common for games. So I can imagine that's being like inside your head.
That's the thing, is because the writing was so good, it made it a lot easier to do these characters well, and then that's a big thing, is that, you know, the writing is really important, is a good, and it's peculiar, you know, the things they come up with, and it's so odd. The script, I never read anything like, you know, is so, those writers were absolutely incredible, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The same for me. It's like it was such a wild ride, and it was such a unique experience. So, but of course, many people thought so. That's why it got acclaimed. That is always good to see, like, such an underdog, weird project getting that kind of attention. Maybe can you share any more memorable moments from your work on the game? Do you have anything specific that's like, oh, this one was cool?
It was quite funny doing, what's that character? I don't know if you come across him. It's a shame that it's like you have to do certain things for him to be there. That Necktie? Have you heard of Horrific?
Oh, yeah.
Horrific Necktie? Yeah, that was funny doing that.
Yeah, I got it on my first playthrough by accident.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah. 'Cause I wish that a lot more people got that, because actually the developers, that turned into a lot of them's favorite character, and they were just like loving that. And yeah, that was a load of different ones, and then they were like, this is the one. And then, that was also very easy to do once you're in the character in this. Yeah, it was funny though, man. Do you know? Because I remember I had a director on the other end, because I did it from my home studio, just straight through Source Connect to, I think Jim was on the other end, and he was directing me on that one. Because I directed myself on all of Ancient Reptilian Brain and Limbic System and all that, all Spinal Cord. Just was there on my own, just do it. Anyway, but it was really fun to do it with someone else, and he was just laughing away, you know. And he said it was the most fun session. I mean, it's because you do a funny character and you got a great script, a comedic script to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was, I don't know, man. There was a lot of funny things. I can't think right now. It was a lot, you know. The first when we did the first game, which was Disco Elysium, that's just it. And then the final cut, right? The final cut for me was like, it was hardcore and it was non-stop kind of work. There was some fun, but it was a lot for me. It was like, I've got to get this amount of words recorded in a day. I was working a lot with Lenville, who's a good friend of mine now. He's a great dude. And anyway, yeah, and we did some other people and everything, and I directed some, but yeah, the first game I was doing everything and I loved it, and it was just, but it didn't have the pressure. It didn't have anything like that. It was all kind of mysterious. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And then when I actually played the game, I was like, what? Like when I actually saw the animation and actually went around the world, when it was done, I couldn't believe it. I thought, these guys made this. This is insane. Because I didn't expect it. They're so like, they were like really arty, kind of dreamy people, I mean, I don't mean dreamy like, they were obviously super intelligent, but they like, in the first one, they were all so artistic and everyone was so, man, Robert's enthusiasm is outrageous, you know what I mean? He's just so enthusiastic about everything. And I remember I was amazed that they made this game, and I was really, really happy. But when it went to number one, yeah, that was incredible, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it stayed at number one, and then it kept going, and then we got 3 BAFTA awards and 4 Game Awards and the rest of it, and it was just mental. You just don't expect it.
Yeah, absolutely. It came out of left field, and it's like, I know what you mean, like this feeling of then seeing it all come together and seeing like that now there's a game, there's a whole experience, and you can like recognize your parts in there, but still it's like this whole thing coming together is always nice to see. It's also for me in my work when I record stuff, I'm outside, record some stuff in the forest, and I don't know, maybe a year later I'm walking through that forest in game and I can hear that and I can feel that, and it's like so cool seeing that all come together.
That's cool. Yeah, because this is Foley. Yeah, this is what you do, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm doing Foley and field recording and sound design, like essentially everything sound. So I also work on voices sometime when I get them. But like my main thing is like going out and recording or doing stuff in the studio, breaking shit and stuff. But yeah.
Can I ask, is that background your background, or is that a real
that is real here. It's like
my
days.
days.
Here and it's my little home studio.
That looks like Doctor Who or something. That looks insane.
Thanks. That's good. Doctor Who is a good reference.
That is mad.
On my card.
Yeah. That is crazy.
And you can't see all the microphones. They are up there over there, but it's like...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's your favorite
I could say,
microphone?
my wife would say I have a problem, but it's like I have a collection.
Well, I do as well. What's your favorite? What's your favorite microphones?
Oh, it's very hard. It's very hard to say because I have so many different usages.
For voice.
For voice, I don't do a lot of voice work. I usually just use the Shure or use something weird like the Copperphone. If you know that, the Copperphone is amazing. It has this like old school vibe. But like for going out, I really like the Lom Audio. They're very, very tiny, and you can like record stereo stuff and don't need much space in your backpack. So and otherwise, I like just weird stuff, like contact microphones, underwater microphones, electromagnetic stuff, like all the weird stuff.
Oh, I remember Katerina. She got one of them, an underwater microphone, and they were going to do some awesome stuff with it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I had her on my show as well. It's like actually, I got your contact
from
through her.
Zaum. So. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. She said good things about you, so that's why I come and did the interview.
Oh, thank you. That's good to hear.
That's cool. I haven't done an interview in about, I don't know how many years, man. Maybe 5 years or something. 4 years. 5.
Oh man, I feel very honored now.
Thank you.
That's
well,
awesome.
I've been asked for a lot of interviews, but it's just very. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about uplifting stuff. Do you know what I mean? I've been asked to talk about, disco and all that, with all, and I'm just like, I don't want to, I just want to talk about microphones and stuff like that right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
and
that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Because it was great. You know what I mean? The whole thing was great. It was an incredible experience at disco. And doing that, it was absolutely amazing. And yeah, the thing is, I said I was amazed by that it did so well, but it also deserves it. Do you know, I
Yeah.
was amazed because I'd never done a game before until then, and then it was there.
Yeah.
And then since then, I've done loads of games. You know what I mean? I've done so
Yeah.
many games, and I'm opening a new voice agency, which will be out by when this is out.
Yeah.
And it's
Maybe talk about that. I have that on my list as well. I don't want to dwell too long
sorry.
on disco. It's just because like that's how I got to like meet you
Well,
through your
you
voice.
know, I talk about disco a lot, and I'm proud of it, and
Sure.
you know that's the thing. So fair enough, man.
Yeah, but yeah, tell us a bit about your agency. It's called Cartoon, right?
Yeah, we were called Cartoon, and now some other people have come on board. So it's me running it with them, and it's actually called the Voice Elysium.
The Voice Elysium.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah. There's and it's just becoming a lot. Like the website is amazing. It's like next level. We've really, even though Cartoon was a good one, we've leveled up. And because I wasn't doing, I had like a month or so to actually like kind of like, right, okay, let's gather all the games I've done and the trailers and things like that, you know, not that me personally voice, but like I've worked on, and actually do them. So we've got all the games and all this, and it looks amazing, because before there was just like 2 games on it for years because I was constantly working on other games. I never got a chance to do it.
Yeah.
Should really have employed someone to do that, you know, for me. But I can do video, because I used to make music videos as well. I did Killing Joke and all these people and stuff like that. So yeah. So anyway, I got these videos made and everything else, and yeah, man, it looks great, and we've got more voices on there. We've got incredible casts, you know. Now, like if I was casting a game like Disco back then, man, the voices I have now is crazy, you know what I mean? It's absolutely amazing, you know.
Yeah, you upped your arsenal. That's good.
Oh,
So
beyond
yeah,
a joke.
and well, now with like talking about that, you have so many roles, and one question I always like to ask people that do so many things: how do you balance your roles? I mean, you're a singer, you're a voice artist, and now you're a company owner, and do that as well. So yeah, how do you get all that stuff done?
Well, I don't do the business side now of the Voice Elysium, which is good, because I didn't like that side. I tried to do as least administration side and have other people do all that, which is good, because I think myself as a creative person is what I'm best at. And yeah, so anyway, doing all the different things, I actually find it inspiring, because I always like to have new colors, new things that I want to do. Like, so I do, because, you know, editing, as you would know, is like you are really obsessive about editing. You want to make you want to make things right.
You can totally
swear.
be as free as you want on this podcast.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. You want to make things right, yeah. So you want to get it right with editing, but it's not fun. It's just like you're looking for problems. Some voices, man, some people are like, man, they're so minimal, but then some people, wow, it's unbelievable, the amount of like things, every single word, you know, every single syllable, there's something going on, you know what I mean, in between even, you know what I mean, that's what I'm saying. And yeah, so that isn't fun. But then what fun is, like, when you're being creative in the studio and things like that, and there's lots of different types of fun to be had, you know what I mean? Like when you're casting as well, some days when you're casting, it can be like really, really hard if it's some really, really different type of voice where there isn't many people like that. And anyway, yeah, but some of it is absolutely amazing. Some of it is like you get gold, you know what I mean? And you know, there's so many amazing ones. You're like, wow, this is great to choose from. And what's great is telling people they got a role as well. I like doing that. Obviously, it's not fun telling them they didn't get roles, you know. But yeah, man. Anyway, yeah. There's lots of things to do. Yeah. But anyway, I balance them. I'm always working. I'm always crazy working. I'm always busy. So busy. It's insane. So yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I'm always. You know, it's very hard as a creative person, like, because you know you find I can be because I do music as well, as you know, and man, I could be working till like 11 at night some nights, you know, or something like that, and you know, but yeah. Anyway, it's just some of these things you do. You know, you want to do things right. You have to be quite obsessive over what you do quite a lot, you know, unless you've got a really long, you know, you got ages to do it. But often people want things done, you know, quickly or well. You want the amount, if you're paying by, it depends, you know, if you've got an artist and they're doing an hourly thing, you want to hit a certain amount of words, but you also have to have that quality very high. So, you know, you have to, So working with certain people is just like, it's like a dream for that. Do you know what I mean? And working with other people isn't. So you have to just, you know, you're constantly developing and you're constantly realizing, you know, if I really need that particular voice, I'll go for it. But you know, certain actors are just, incredible to work with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I of course. I mean, the human factor is always something to consider. And just like you said, I can relate to the whole working and late at night. I usually, like when I have like a really big stretch of inspiration or something that I want to get done, I'm in my studio, and sometimes it's 3 a.m. because it's like at the night everything's quiet, so less noise, better to record, and nobody disturbs me. I don't get emails or phone calls because it's not their working time. So, but then you have to get up early, maybe for another meeting or something. So
exactly.
Yeah,
it happens, man. Yep, it's the way it is, man. So, but it's it's inspiring to do.
Yeah.
But you know, that's just the way it is, and it is quite important to separate it some days. But then again, you know, as well as that, once you've done this crazy thing, I find it really, really nice. Like once you've done this crazy amount of work, like I think I did a game in about 3 weeks recently, and then after it, because it needed to be done. And it wasn't a massive amount of words, but it was a massive amount of different characters, which needed different voice, you know. And, you know, some people could do multiple voices. Some certain things, it's just not possible. You're like, well, that one's clearly amazing. It would be amazing to have that one in the game, so I'm going to go with that one. Do you know, I'm not just going to go with whatever's cost effective. It has to be right for the game, you know. So, anyway, then you get to chill a bit after it, just for a bit. And I didn't always get that. When I was working on the disco, it was like constant boom, 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 which is great, you know what I mean?
But you gotta have this downtime and really like enjoy also, like, and
It
also
is.
relax and let your mind like just process what happened to be more creative.
Exactly, yeah. Well, you know, that's the thing. That's a very important thing, which I don't get to do a lot of, but I remember one of the best ways of being creative is actually doing nothing at all in your day. Nothing to do with creativity, and then it can just come.
Yeah.
You never know when it's going to come. Like, at the end of the day, like, as well, when I was actually in the studio being creative, you know, just doing what I was already, you know, doing some, I was in the studio with SikTh, and I was doing this mini album called Opacities, and then 3 a.m, these poetry just came to my mind, and I wrote it on this iPod Touch thing, iPod Touch, and man, and one line was changed out of that entire song, entire spoken word, and it's like my best spoken word to date, and it all came at once. And it's this theatrical kind of theatrical journey, do you know what I mean? And it was like, some of it was reality, some of it was fantasy, do you know? So
it's the best. That's the best one.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was, you know, but you never know. You could be writing for ages, and you know.
Nothing comes, and then suddenly.
Well, that's the thing, man. We have a song called "Pigeon" on the new the Sad Season album, and we had it for like 19 years ago. We had this, and we had it, and it was like a poem, and then we developed it into something else eventually later, because the band like kind of disbanded for quite many years, and then we came back because me and Tomasz, I said we were just talking to each other, and we were like, man, we want to make this magical album. Like, we had this idea, like we want to do it, and I believe we did it. By the way, we have got this magical album recorded, but we were still unsure about this song. We kept working on it, we kept honing it, And then I was like, man, it needs something there. It feels empty. And he started strumming this acoustic thing, and then that inspired loads of new voices, and you throw away the old ones. And that's the important thing is we found in our creativity in the sad season, which hopefully a lot more people will hear, is we just don't be precious, man. Just throw it away.
Yeah.
That may be good, but throw it away. This is better, and this is a better direction. This feels better for the song, the vibe. And now we've created something, something very, very magical in that particular song. And that was just because you're honing it, that's just the way it is. Certain characters got replaced on disco as well, It's quite Anyway, but you keep honing it and all that. Anyway, yeah. That's just the way it is. I think creatively, you just have to be open and not be too precious, and always open to experiment. When anyone comes out, I've got an idea, music, always listen to it. You know what I mean? And going, shut up, my ideas are the best. No, don't do that, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And even if the idea is not good, maybe it inspires something else. It's always
exactly.
like just the connections can do so much for you. And that's also what I really love about working with other people, especially with other areas, especially in game design. If you have someone who is maybe a 3D modeler, but he is listening to your sounds and gets inspired to do something else with his models, or the other way around, that is for me, that's the best part about game design, when you have a smaller team and you can look over there and look what they are doing and maybe get inspired and maybe inspire them by your work. That's always fun. And always take breaks, because the best ideas come usually in the shower or when you're trying to go to sleep or whatever else.
Quite. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, man, I agree with that. And I remember when we were doing that game, which had to be finished really quick, I remember sending inspirational little snippets of audio to the art team, because they were still developing the art, and they said it was really inspirational, just to have that voice there. So there's lots of ways each person can inspire, because the art would inspire the voice, and the voice would inspire the art. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Voice snippets. Cool.
Oh, it is very important. And also not only that, it can inspire writing. We've had that as well. Yeah, man. We've had all that. So, but yeah, man, we've done it. It's really exciting to do. And anyway, I'll let you ask your next thing.
It's totally fine. It's just we're just having a conversation. Wherever it goes, it's fine.
I know,
I have some
man,
points to make, but I mean,
I go around in a circle. I go spiraling. Boom, 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 boom. I have to let you talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine, man. That's fine. Yeah, maybe going a bit into the music side of your life. One thing I found that I would be very interested here is, can you maybe tell us about the experience working with Adrian Smith from Iron Maiden? Because that is that is a big one.
Yeah. Well, it was a big one, and that was a very inspiring few years, and it was incredible, man. Adrian is the least ego kind of guy. He doesn't really have a big ego, and he doesn't have an ego at all, as far as I see. He doesn't have a big ego. He's just cool. He's very friendly. He's very helpful. He's inspiring. To me, looking at it, there's a lot of rock and roll, this and that and this and that. I would say he is the absolute. For me, he's the best of it. Because he doesn't, he's not flashy at all. He's just cool and friendly and real, And he taught me a lot about, taking inspiration from him. I took a lot, about what keys suited my voice. He would write for that, he would write for me rather than just write something and go, sing on that, So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and he was a lot about the melody and about how important it is certain sounds to go with the music and everything else like that, and with choruses and certain words which should be certain word sounds, things like that. He was very inspirational in a lot of ways, and he said we both give each other inspiration, which was cool because I come from a total different angle than him. And I remember how I actually got involved in that. There was one of my friends who I was in a band with was walking along a road, and this woman come up to him, and she was this American woman. She said, "Hey, my son has not got any friends and into that type of music, and he loves that music. Would you come and meet him?" And he was like, "Okay." And he was like, a teenager, like, yeah, man. And anyway, she was this amazing, like, inspiring woman, and he met her son, and they became friends. And then it turned out that she was actually friends with Adrian Smith, his wife. And and then, like, she was an amazing person. She's a person who, like, links so many people together. She's a very inspiring and amazing person. Like, she is a great being. And all she always just tries to be positive, So I really have got so much respect for her. But anyway, then in the end, when I actually got in SikTh, I was, after going to, like, certain things like barbecues with Adrian Smith and stuff like that, just was like, whoa, that's Adrian Smith, Then I started sending him stuff when I was in SikTh, and his son became a fan of ours. Then they asked us to go and play his birthday party for his son. So we went and played his son's birthday party, and then a week later, Adrian called me up, and he said, "Would you be up for doing for jamming with me? Like, I thought you have a really unique voice, and
Nice.
he said you can't buy it. He just said, it's unusual. I think he meant you can't train it. You know what I mean? So So it's one of those things. It's So from there, I went on, and man, then I just become really good friends with him, and he's one of the nicest guys. You know what I mean? We still go to dinner and stuff like that nowadays, and yeah, man, he's proper cool. I wish that album had got more chance, though. I wish it had been around the world. I would have really liked to have played it, but things aren't as they are. But I do appreciate that I actually got to do it and got to work with someone like that. Yeah. Thank you for realizing that, because not that many people realize that. Many people have heard that compared to what it should be. Because I thought it was a great album, man.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you
it's
very
like,
much.
as I said, like when I was looking you up, the first was like, how many voices can this do too? And then I saw like, how many bands can this guy play? And it's like, what the fuck? What is he doing? Like, now he's got his own agency. It's just like it kept going and going. So like, going into a bit of research was very, very pleasing. So yeah, you did a lot of cool stuff, and also you collaborated a lot with other artists. So maybe in your words, what do you enjoy most about the collaboration process with other artists, especially maybe in music?
Well, again, it's nice to be creative, like with other people. Yeah. I think other artists. Well, Bad for Lashes, I was just round there, and we were going to do something together. And I think she didn't have a MIDI keyboard or something like that. And she didn't have a guitar there. It was just me and her. And then I was like, well, why don't we just do some voices? Let's do some noises. And then because I was all into making a vocal drum kit and all this kind of thing back then, and I started doing this C noises, and then she used it on her album. It's quite mad.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was quite an odd one. So that wasn't really a normal song. And then I don't know, with Periphery, they asked me to do something, and I I wrote the lyrics on a train. I was on the way on the train, and they just came to me. So I wrote them real quick in like 5 minutes. And they actually have taken a couple of bits out of what I did. But anyway, and then just shortened it. So what was I going to say? But yeah, I did that in like 2 takes. And then I sent it to them. I said, "Is this kind of thing you want?" And then they went, "Yeah, that's awesome." So I then did loads of stuff and made it really awesome. And then they're like, no, we've already mixed it, man. It's awesome. We just use those.
It's already done.
I'm like, oh, man. I mean, it sounds good, but I went to town on the rest of it, you know. But yeah, it was cool, man. But you know, those guys are awesome. You know, I've got so much respect for them, and as you know, main thing is friends with them. You know, they're like nicest, you know, really nice people, amongst the nicest people I've ever met in music. You know, I would say them and Tooth Grinder when we went on tour with them in America. It was amazing. It was just the most fun. Like, even though it wasn't fun being on our bus because we didn't have the deposit for the bandwagon because we'd already taken the money out, which was stupid. So we like basically after our tour we took all, you know, we all got paid, and then we were going around in a splitter van. It was ridiculous, man, going around America in a splitter van. It was like someone was punching me in the back of my head whenever we were like traveling, like boom 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 boom. I was on the bottom bunk. It had no proper suspension for it. Do you know what I mean? It was absolute clown shoes. But apart from that, when you're looking out the window, it's a magical country. It's an amazing place to be. And whenever we got off, the thing is about America, I will say this, is in England, like, a lot of people would just like see the LA movie stars talking or something like that, or the president or something like that, you know, and they see all that kind of side. No, man, like, if you actually knew the artistic people in America, they look into music way more than I have experienced in Europe, to be honest with you. They look into the lyrics more. They're really, really deeply artistic people in America. There's so many, and there's amazing people in America. So, you know, you can't label all as one without that, and that's what often can happen in the UK. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I remember I was in Ireland and someone said to me, "You're not the typical Englishman." I said, "No, I certainly am not." But you know, everyone's different, man. You know what I mean? It's not what, you know. Oh, these people are like that. These people are like, nah. Yeah, everyone's different, man. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man. But I had a great one in America, and sorry, going back to what you said, yeah, collaborating with Adrian Smith was insane, though. That was just the coolest. Like, I absolutely loved that. That was incredible. Having Spencer over from Periphery on our album, that was also really, really nice. That was cool. Obviously Spencer, and I can't really think of any others I've done, man. I suppose usually I do them, and they'll go, oh. Like Red Method, I think they send me one. They just send me something, and I just do it in my home studio and send it back to them. Do you know what I mean? And
it's a very quick.
Yeah, and it's not really like that much of a collaborative thing. Do you know what I mean? It's just like they'll send me something and say, "Oh, this kind of thing," and I'll be like, "All right." Yeah. And then I'll write lyrics and do it. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, man.
Yeah, so maybe a tiny bit of a tangent of the music industry. So how do you navigate the challenges of the music industry? Because I mean, everywhere I go when I talk about with people about the music industry, it's always like, fucking music industry is like really horrible. Did you find like your niche and your peers, and are you happy with like how it works, or is it still like a grind and just big corporations sucking the soul out of music? To be very like blunt and overreacting.
Well, I don't know about. Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, when you say a big corporation sucking the soul out of it, you say if they had worked out how to do the streaming properly, how to distribute that in a better way, and how to do streaming in a better way, how to have it like so I mean, you know, a lot of people go like, I remember back in 99, 2000, one of my friends was going, yeah, music should be free, this and that and all this, and I was like, but do you realize what it means if that happens? I said, people won't be able to tour. People don't. I made lots of predictions. You don't have to be Nostradamus to do that. It was quite obvious. Like, and I said, this is going to be, and now you see it. More music is released every single day than it was in a year. So nowadays, it's like, it's so hard. If you ask me to listen to one song, or 2 or 3 songs, I will listen to them. If you say, oh, here's 100 songs, listen to them, I'm not going to listen to fucking anything. That's how it is, man. And then now it's so over the top. It's so monotonous. It's so much terrible music out there and it's there are some good music, but you don't get to hear a lot of it because there's so much bad music. And also the wrong idea is there. There's too much social pressure nowadays. And so people, rather than doing it for creating your sound and being unique and being yourself, it's more about getting that social, what's it called? Gratification, I suppose, that instant gratification rather than actually like finding it and being it from your soul, you know what I mean? I don't get much money from music at all, right? I do it because it's in my blood and that's just how it is. And it costs money to be in a band. Like, you know, people think, oh yeah, you must make, nah man, this sad season's cost me loads of money. And so is like, you know, so is all that. You know, we invested, me and another guy, we paid for most of the album. It costs a lot. But there are different avenues of how to go about it. And some of it's luck. Some of it's if you got certain rich people around you or something like that, or certain, but you know, yeah, I mean, these days it's very, very, very hard, and it is kind of soul destroying if you try. I mean, when I looked around, when I was just doing music, I looked around and I thought to myself, man, there's a lot of depressed people around who are musicians because they were relying on music for money, and that was their only source. This is all they knew how to do was music, and they were good at it, but there wasn't the money. So you know. So yeah, anyway, you know, because I never like looked at music, oh, this is a good way to get money. I never looked at it like that. It was always about the music for me, man. And I think at the end of the day, yeah, it's very, very hard nowadays. And to do music, you should really do it for the right reasons. I think it's very easy to record in your room at the moment, make a good enough sounding album on your own for very cheap. If you want like a drums, if you got drums in the band, you want drums recorded, you should go to a proper studio and do it as well as you can. But like I record at home, like we recorded a lot of a Sad Season album live because we wanted that right kind of 60s, 70s vibe of that kind of real feel, because there's no perfection, because you either have the vibe, and you have a few mistakes, and you have like the tempos going up and around, which is nice, and it's real. Or you have this exact perfection with the click and everything, and you can speed the click up as you go along to make it more push and everything else. But then that kind of, if it's like overly surgical and everything like that, as it's done, you can get perfection within everything is actually correct in the way it is played and everything else, but you do not get perfection in vibe and the feeling always. Yeah. So for us, we were like, which way do we want to go? Let's go that way. And some days you can split it up. Well, in some songs we split up. Okay, let's do a click until this point, because we want that kind of boom, boom, boom. We want that kind of feel, and then
like as a creative tool.
Yes, and then we'll go boom, and then we'll just let it flow and let it, this outro go where it needs to go. We're just humans. Yeah. So there's a lot of ways to do that. You know what I mean? Like there's, but yeah, it's. So anyway, nowadays, the industry, man, it wasn't, I find it really hard. Some people make money out of it. Some people at the very top, some of my friends make money out of it, and that's cool. But for me, it's all about just doing what I love, and I'm hoping, our aim in the Sad Season, our original aim is to get a great vinyl album out. A great album we have on vinyl with a cover and go, that's our album. The second aim is to play in front of 200 people who know our tunes and love it. And then I'd say the next one what would be more of a dream if we got to play somewhere like Coco-sized venue and people loving, that would be amazing. But then the real thing is like going to Japan or someone like that that would be amazing. But all those things, they're not like astronomical. I've done them all before in SikTh. Do you know what I mean? I've done them all, so, we toured 26 countries with SikTh, went around the world, man. We did lots of good stuff. And that's the thing is, so I've already got that in my head. I've already done this, I've already done that. And I don't feel like, that I'm desperately need to complete this and that in my head, where I did before. I always wanted to tour America. I always wanted to, but America was always the top on my list, and so doing that was amazing. You know what I mean? But Anyway,
I can totally relate to that, because when I started out with with sound, I actually came to it from music, because I always was like a lover of music. So I thought at some point, like, hey, I need to make some music of my own, and I got into like ambient electronic stuff, and I actually made my own album as well, mixed it myself, learned how to mix it, made a vinyl, and got like a really nice artist to make a cover, and I just made it for myself. Of course, it didn't make any money, because I also didn't spend anything on marketing, and it's just like like my first album. But I did it for myself and had this experience and this expression. And I always think, especially nowadays for me, it's when I hear songs or albums that I really enjoy, I try to find out where to buy them from the artist, maybe from Bandcamp, or maybe if they have a vinyl or CD out. Even if I don't play the CD, I'm gonna play it on Spotify probably, because I'm gonna have it in my car or something. But if I'm at home, I'm really gonna try to get like the wave or something like from the artist, and give the artist as much as I can from my money directly, because just like you said, the music industry state is horrible. And if someone makes something that really touches me, I personally feel as a listener I have an obligation to give something back, at least that, or like find out if they tour near me and go on tour. And I really try to go out of my way and find ways to like support them, And I hope, at least with like vinyls, it's still the case, right? People are crazy about vinyls.
Well,
and
that's
if they
the
find
thing.
a vinyl from an artist that they really like, they're gonna buy it because they want to support them. And I hope this is gonna rise again to the point where even small artists can at least somewhat sustain their art. That would be a
great.
dream.
That would be great. So you're a wise man, right? Like in the way,
Well,
no, but
I'm an old man.
you don't look that old with your bright
It's just a
orange
color, man. I'm
mohawk,
40.
man. It's rocking. So anyway, what I'm saying is, so with this, how big is a 24-bit file? Say, how much bigger? Then you go to like 24-bit, then you go 16-bit, and then you go all the way to whatever the MP3 version is being played on Spotify. How much smaller and more compressed that is? I mean, you tell me. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot less, right? So a lot of people don't actually hear it in the proper form of like a vinyl or a CD. I mean, I remember I was even playing it through my phone, our mixes of our album, even from which were meant to be like they were going through a phone and then to the stereo, and we were playing it. And then I said to Tom, man, you got to listen to this on CD. It's unbelievable. So I put it on CD, and I got a good CD player, put it on the CD, and we were like, whoa. I mean, I was already saying that, but yeah, he was like, this is insane, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just like the people, even if you listen to it because you're on the go, you're listening to it on the Spotify or whatever, like, or Apple Music, and some days you're out and about, you can't bring your whole stereo system on the train, you know what I mean, or something like that.
Yeah.
But man, it's great that you buy them from the artist. You give that appreciation anyway, even if you're not going to, because I totally appreciate that. But a big thing that people aren't actually hearing things, how good they could be. They don't. Some people never realize that because they're just so used to this. There's the modern streaming ways. There's actually this music. If you really love it, it can be heard better. It can be so much better sounding.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like when I first realized that, when I got into the whole sound like industry, or like the sound, the tech behind it, and built my studio up and stuff like that, I realized that so many albums that I loved were even way better when heard properly.
Yeah.
And I personally got myself a few, like a little audio player that it's just for audio. It's just like an audio player, high quality. I bring high quality headphones normally when I go about, because I really want that experience. I want the sound to be as good as possible. And normally, if I'm in my car, I don't have the system there. I mean, it's okay, but it uses Spotify. But when I'm out and like on a train or something and have some time, I always try to bring my player with me to hear to the music the way it's meant to be heard, as good as possible. Because just like you said, you can hear so many more details. Sometimes there's whole, like, I don't know, whole layers of the song that just vanishes with all the compression, all that stuff, and it's horrible.
The bass as well, everything is just, you don't hear all the clarity And yeah, I agree. I also do that with headphones as well. I'm crazy on the headphone. I got so many high quality headphones.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And I talk about mics as well. I got I'm using a Neumann right now, Neumann U87. And that's the main mic I use for it. But I've got a Flea Vintage 47, which is incredible mic. Unbelievable mic. And Sanken CO100, which you'll probably know. You love that in Foley as well, don't you? So
of course.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm big on microphones as well and stuff. I used to have a SE Gemini 2, which is a great mic. It's actually really, really, really great mic. I used that on a lot of stuff I did. Then I don't have a use for it now, but it was great, for a mic around £1,000, which is probably what I didn't pay for that. Back in then, I didn't pay that price. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course.
Got
a
deal.
Yeah.
Got a deal on that. So what was I going to say? Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, just go back on the Voice Elysium. We're actually getting our own studio there and set up, and we're going to be hopefully constantly doing games and working constantly, on that. So
yeah,
exciting stuff, man. And yeah, we I don't know. I'll update you a bit more on some other things with that. But yeah, it could go a lot of places really with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna come in with my question that I ask every guest, and I'm really interested to hear what's your answer to that. And the question I ask everyone is, what is the first sound you ever recorded, and why did you record it?
First sound? Oh, it's recording my voice.
Yeah. Really, that's the first thing. Okay.
Of course, man. I mean, I was a singer since an early age. You know what I mean?
I was guessing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just recorded my voice, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And when did you start? Like, was it like with 8, 10 or something like that? Or?
Oh, I don't know, man. Oh, actually recorded. Oh, I was... Nah, man. No, to be honest, I became a vocalist when I was 14. But, like,
nice.
I was recording... I was probably messing about doing little things before that. But, yeah, I only started being a vocalist because the other guy wasn't very good at the vocals. I was playing the bass.
Oh, and you stepped in.
Yeah, it was like screaming stuff. I was just better at screaming. And then I kind of developed and, yeah, just kind of... I always used to do... The thing is how I developed my vocal ranges. I always used to do impressions of other accents and stuff like that. So I've always been someone who does accents and things like that. And then I think about, combining this and that, and then it will end up being that. And then, that's kind of how I started out. And then so you have this knowledge of this, and you're constantly like trying to better yourself and push yourself. And so as a vocalist, that's what I do. My friend in Bleed From Within, he said that I'm a vocal gymnast. He could describe me. He said that, man.
That's good. Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go and see that. I'm gonna go to Download Festival. I usually don't love it that much, but I've got to see, Pantera and my friends Bleed From Within, and who else? There's Biohazard.
Oh yeah, nice.
Lots of 90s stuff and Bleed From Within. Yeah. So anyway, one of those things.
So you always experimented with your voice. That was always the first.
Always experimenting, man. You always have to like kind of like think, I don't know, this and this and this and this. What would happen if I did this? And and I thought of death metal vocals before I even heard them. So I was like, what if you could do the like lowest, And then and I was always, but yeah, the whole Voice Elysium was, not the voice, the whole Harry voice was like
From nothing town to fucking para. All right.
Yeah, man.
That's fine.
Yeah, but my normal. That's what I'm saying. All these voices are quite loud, even though they're like, what I mean.
Yeah.
Even though like I'm talking like just that. My normal talking voice is quite little, like compared to what my other voices are like. I go crazy on it. Do you know what I mean? Quite chilled out usually,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the contrast, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you need
it's
the one with the
of,
other.
it's one of the contrasts. Yeah, there's many contrasts in the voices. Oh man, when I'm screaming, I'm loud, man. You can hear me from a long way away. Usually.
Yeah.
And the Justin in SikTh is even louder than me, man. We're like wild men when we're doing that. Some people in metal do really quiet screaming. Like a lot of them.
Yeah, and amplify it.
Most of them, to be honest. But me and not. I don't want to get like, how are you? You said nah. A lot of them I've heard. I've heard quite a lot of people just, and they tell me like they just do quite quiet screaming compared to like belting out, because it's better for you to do quieter screaming, to do more control in that way, and it is actually better for you. You can still get great sounds out of it, but we do. Me and Justin do more wild beast sounds. You know what I mean? Like,
the primal ones.
More primal, but maybe it's not so good for us, man. Like we have to, like, you know what I mean. But with Ancient Reptilian Brain, is like if I'm going, all right, and then I go, and I have it in my stomach now, my, and then I,
all right, yeah, nothing town to,
you know what I mean.
Nothing town to fuck all, Barra.
And if I get that from the diaphragm going on, it's a stronger, I think. You know, it's a different feeling. It's a different, because some people like it better, like,
yeah, just talking like that. It's all right.
It's more chill.
You can get up there, and that's just the throat. But then if you go, even if I did it like quieter,
yeah, all right.
It's a little bit fuller and warmer, I would say, from the diaphragm. There's a lot of it taking the pressure off your throat. You're using the diaphragm and using your face muscles. It's very important. All of that. These make the sounds, the face. And, you know, obviously the technique as well, you know, is where you're singing, where you're projecting from in your mouth and everything else. There's a lot to it. But always try to use your diaphragm, I would say, to anyone who's a metal singer, or even who's doing the voices, because it's always better, you know. Always like take that breath, breathe out through your mouth, so you've got lots of air ready to go in your stomach, and then you breathe in through your nose, you hold it like you're flexing your stomach on a beach, and then you keep holding it and you're doing it. You know what I mean? That's what you should be doing.
Yeah. I can relate to that, as I'm trying some. Sometimes I do, of course, like creature vocalizations or something, like growls or something like that, to try that out. And it's always like this experimenting with pressure, building up pressure, air pressure, trying to. Yeah, of course I'm not well versed in that, but it's always fun to experiment and to see what kind of different feelings you get out of the, I would say, almost same sound, right? Like the performance is always so important, and. It's so cool to have people like you that are really into this and are giving it their all, and I think that's also what is connecting with the players and with the or with the listeners, because as I was telling you, like when I was playing the game, and I've heard hundreds of hours of voice acting, I've worked with voice actors, but like hearing those kind of performances, you can really feel it. You can really feel that the actor, in this case you, and also the other people, are really giving it their all and are really like intricately keeping track of all the details, and that connects with people. That is awesome.
Oh yeah, and definitely, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm always thinking, you know, whenever I do something, I'm always thinking, I could improve this, I could improve that, and you have to keep improving as you're going, you know. But like, thank you very much. But voice acting is, wow, there's a lot to it, but you have to be in the character, and then you're all right.
Absolutely. Yeah, and maybe as a follow-up question to that, do you have anything that you hope to leave with your work? Any kind of legacy you hope to leave with your work in the end? What is something you want to be known at? I mean, of course, a great voice actor, but.
Well, a versatile singer, a good poet, and which I need to do more poetry than I used to do. A lot of poetry. Now I'm so busy, it's only now and then, but you do a lot of living, so therefore you have your material building naturally in your head. I don't know, man. I think what I'm doing, I just keep doing it, you know. Just keep going. To be honest, I haven't thought about that.
Yeah. But that's also
much.
good. That's something, if you enjoy what you're doing, then I don't think you need to think about that at all.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. The thing is, I just keep doing what I'm doing and constantly be creative because it's within yourself. You just have this natural thing. Some people just have to be creative constantly, and that's what I have to be. And so I just do it because it's it's that therapeutic kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's a therapeutic vibe. So yeah, that's where I'm at with all that. You know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm all out of questions, so the only thing I only have left is, do you have any shout-outs, any upcoming projects you want to promote? Feel free to do so.
Yeah, thesadseason.com. Check us out there, and you've got all our links from there. thevoicelysium.com. Check us out from there. There's people involved with that. The other side of that, they're from Watford like me. And it's awesome. And yeah, we're all kind of like, we're like, right, let's do this. It's amazing. It's very, very vibey. And then, if you can check out all the other games I've been involved with, there's really awesome ones. There's a VR game called Underdogs, which this guy called Jaffro, he did the voices in. It's really great. There's Republic of Pirates, which is coming out soon. Nice. This game with 6 different voices called Morbid, the Lords of Ire, and I did all the voices apart from one. And you might like that as well. It's got a really low one called Thalas, which I can play. There's Bulwark, the Falconeer Chronicles. There's there's so many different games, man. But yeah, if you go to the Voice Elysium, you see all the games we've already made, and you're rocking there. Do you know what I mean? And anyway, that's all the shout outs, and shout out to yourself. Do you know what I mean? And and I just appreciated every game I've worked on. I have full appreciation for. Do you know what I mean? Everyone who I've worked with, and so I've just only got good things to say about that. Do you know what I mean? That's it.
That's good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always hear that the audio world in general is a very welcoming space, and it's all about collaborating and being excellent to each other. And so far, I also have made the experience that with the devs I've worked, and especially with the audio people, they are always cool, interesting people and open. So
no, thank you very much.
So again, thank you for being on the show. It's really been a pleasure. I've been a fan of your voice work for a while now, and
thank you. Yeah.
It's awesome that you took the time to do this interview with me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Deep in the forest, hunting for your sleep, your eyes are wild, wide awake for weeks. Deep in the forest, dream along the murky river and the tree-lined street. Now you're in control of the season. Now you're in control of the season. Dream along the murky river and the tree-lined street. Now you're in control of the season. Now you're in control of the season. Now you can find your love to keep. Now you're in control of the season. Now you're in control of the season. Now you have found your love to keep. Now you're in control of the season. 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 Now you're in control of the season.
Looking for more audio-related podcasts to listen to? We're part of the Audio Podcast Alliance, featuring a hand-picked selection of the very best podcasts about sound. Be sure to hear the latest episodes from our friends in the community at audiopodcast.org. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please consider supporting on patreon.com/fieldandfoley or ko-fi.com/fieldandfoley, where you gain early access to episodes in lossless format and can submit questions for our guests. Thank you for listening.